All right, we have joining us to discuss more on these issues, Collins Eselemo. He's the grand patron of Ijaw Youth Congress, and Ben Ikani. He's a legal practitioner, past Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General of Kogi State, as well as a former director with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Thanks very much, gentlemen, for coming. Let me start from Prince Eselemo, who is in our off-site studio. Prince, you are an Ijaw man. You are from Burutu, Patani, you know, the waterways, the creeks, and the rest. What's wholesomely wrong with the award of pipeline contracts to Tompolo? It's not the first time the Nigerian government is doing that. Prince, I think we'll come back to you. There's something not right with your audio. So let's speak to Ben Ikani. Thanks so very much for joining us here, Ben. A while ago or some time ago, this same government, Tompolo, alias Tompolo, the former warlord and leader of men, was declared and is still even on the EFCC website as a wanted man. And today, the federal government is awarded him a contract of 4 billion naira per month. How do you reconcile this as a former detective, operative, prosecutor?
Well, thank you very much. Good evening, Nigeria. As a matter of fact, as a lawyer, we don't speculate. But from what I've been in the news out there, I've read a lot about it. But specifically, whether or not it was declared by EFCC at one point in time is immaterial here. Because when they were talking about contract awarded to Tompolo, as a lawyer, I know such a contract cannot be awarded to an individual. It must be a company. And if it is a limited liability company, company is a juridical person. It is a different person from Tompolo himself. Tompolo may be one of the directors. There is nothing like ownership in corporate existence. It's a corporate personality. The company on can be awarded this contract and it will go there to be executed. Tompolo, by all standards, may be part of the directors. That is not an issue. But for one to now say, why must he be given such a contract? He's a citizen. And any incorporated company is equally a citizen. Because juridical person has been ascribed to it upon registration. Therefore, if there's a contract which it has bidded for and has been given, the federal government knows better. So the issue of whether or not EFCC once declared, EFCC is a very disciplined organization with officers well trained, highly intelligent personality. They know what to do at the right time. So that is not an issue.
Okay, if you say it's not an issue, would allow Prince Eselemo, who is from the Niger Delta, from the same Ijaw kindred or kingdom like Tompolo, what are the grievances of? Wouldn't it even be hasty generalization to say the whole of the Niger Delta is against the award of that contract? But we've seen pockets of protests by Niger Deltans who have oil pipelines, you know, crisscrossing their milieu. What's the problem really with that contract award?
Collins, as soon as our engineers are able to sort out the technical issues that you seem to be having in our offsite studio, we'll come back to you. But Ikani, let me come to you right now in the studio. You are a security personnel yourself. And of course, if you look at the statement credited to the Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPC Limited, speaking about Mele Kyari, just earlier on this month of August, he says $1.9 billion is lost in Nigeria due to oil theft, bunkering, and the likes. But we know it's a big challenge. But looking at the fact that we're looking in the direction of non-state actors to secure our pipelines. Does this mean that our armed forces are now giving up their constitutional responsibility to secure the pipelines and now giving this to non-state actors? Talk to us about the implication, especially to our national security.
Yeah, thank you, Amaka. You are very right, but the issue is not as simple as that. We used to say that when there is a desperate situation, you approach it desperately. Nigeria is in a serious issue, in a situation whereby our resources have been dwindled by these non-state actors' nefarious activities. The government may decide to take any step. Government, by its institution, its wisdom is beyond comprehension because they see what some of us don't see. Because the security report that goes to either the Mr. Kerry you are talking about or Mr. President himself cannot be something that all of us can consume at the same time. It may be some privileged information they have at their hand. And no country will fold this arm and will look at the situation of our economy now. Because the resource of our resources is being tampered with by this wanton illegality in the Niger Delta. So if they can now look for a situation whereby, however it is, even if you're a devil and you are going to be useful to make your ends meet, you will take that decision. So there's nothing wrong with it. And that does not mean that our military army personnel are not doing anything. If you see what has been going on, they have decimated the Boko Haram in the northeast now. They are working tirelessly. I can't say because I'm not part of them, either they are overwhelmed or not. But any administrative step taken that is out of ordinary can be accepted at this material time.
All right, thank you very much. We'll come back to the discussions on the award of or securing Nigeria's crude oil pipelines around the Niger Delta. But for now, we'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll continue the discussion. Stay with us.
Well, thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Newsnight here on Arise News. I am Amaka Udewalka.
And I am Christian Ogodo. I think we've been able to resolve the little technical problem we're having in our offside studio. So let's now go to the offside studio where Collins Eselemo is patiently waiting. Thanks very much for your patience, Collins. Now, the question I asked earlier is that what is wholesomely wrong with the contract awards to Tompolo? Why the agitations? Why the bickerings?
Well, it's a deviation from our own declaration. As far as the Niger Delta people are concerned, the award is a non-starter. It's not only despotic, it's excruciating and a serious insult to the people of Niger Delta. A distraction. I say a distraction because I really want to deviate from it. And I want to go more historical, even though we don't have the leisure of time to waste. I will start by asking a question. Will it not be better for the federal government to appropriate this 4 billion naira contract award to crude oil allocation for the people of Niger Delta so that they can apply themselves to make do with the modular refinery? The law does not stop the state government or local government to run a refinery or to own a petroleum and gas company. In other words, the country should consider the fact that the entire inhabitants of this little geographical expression you call Niger Delta that expresses the wealth of this nation is domiciled on a time bomb. One bullet on any of these gas installations, everybody in the Niger Delta will be history. We are not insured. We were dead before we were born. The ecology is gone. The environment is gone. Why I blame Tompolo? he has deviated from the declaration of all ethnic groups from the Niger Delta region. What we are asking for was resource control, self-determination, and to clean up our environment. The Ogoni thing has not been met. Our environment is gone. And in this situation, in this predicament, somebody is awarding a contract to a victim of these nefarious activities from all these oil conglomerates. Come off this. This country will need their sympathy to really survive. So the award of 4 billion naira contract to Tompolo, to the Ijaw nation, to the Shekiri nation, to the Urhobo nation, we have considered it as a non-starter, is dead on arrival, and is a serious insult on the dignity and reputation of the occupants, the inhabitants of Niger Delta region. So I'm looking at the bigger picture. I'm not looking at the contract per se. And I did say the other day in this same studio that what is happening is to maintain the status quo on how our oil is being exploited and limited to the cabal.
Collins, you're saying things should remain the way they are. Like it or not, the nation's economy is bleeding, and we need those resources. And I want to stay with you, Collins, before we come back to the studio and speak to Ikani. I want to be sure as to what you have against this contract. Is it the fact that it's being given to an individual, or is it that you don't want non-state actors being in charge of securing our pipelines in the Niger Delta region? We need that clarification from you.
What pipeline are you securing? Can Tompolo run the 97 kilometers of the pipeline himself? Can his company do that? Look, I have a classmate in the university who designed a computer system to check oil theft and what goes out the shores of this country as, oil, theft, the quantity and all that. This boy was transferred from Shell, Warri, to London. And it ends there. You don't need a physical approach to check oil theft. The war is not a rocket science. We know what happens in Ukraine war from Nigeria here. You don't need to physically go along the pipelines and say you are checking pipelines. It doesn't happen in Qatar. It doesn't happen in America. So what they are doing is to maintain the status quo. Those who import petroleum products, diesel, petrol, and all that, they want the status quo to remain. What is our boys doing? What they are doing is caused out of poverty that has been asserted on the Ijaw people, and that is the worst crime you can ever exert on a race. You say they are into illegal bunkering, they are into oil theft. Who is stealing oil? The government is stealing our oil. Let us face it. Is it my brother from my village that is stealing the oil? Is it somebody from the Shekiri that is stealing the oil? The government is responsible. And those that are stealing the oil...
Collins, those are hefty allegations. Ikani, I want to bring you in as a security personnel right now. The fact that, Ikani, he's made his point. He says, you know what, at the end of the day, this will not work. We should look for other ways that technology can even help. But at the end of the day, let's not forget, we have a challenge in Nigeria and we have to find some sort of solution. He's saying, look in the direction of technology, but the government says, let's get the community involved, maybe through one individual. But how do we find a balance here in a way where we find a way to secure our pipelines?
With
we are stakeholders.
back to you. Let's have Ikani react to all that you have said right now, because at the end of the day, this is not a new contract. We had one under former President Goodluck Jonathan, which was cancelled, but now the Buhari administration has decided to reintroduce it. So, Ikani, how do we find a balance where the community is involved in securing these pipelines?
You see, if we have to discuss this issue, we have to be very dispassionate about it. You see, forget about sentiment. The end result of every situation is how to find solution to it. Whether or not there is technology or not, the federal government, the government awarded, or the company, let's say it is a NNPC Limited now, must have weighed all these things. For us to be concerned, I don't know Tompolo, I'm trying to be very objective here. The federal government has to do what it has to do to bring the situation under control. Whatever is their differences back home there, you see, human being can never be satisfied. Whereas, even if, for you now to mention that Tompolo is a non-state actor, is wrong because he has not been convicted. I don't know him, but as a lawyer, I will not give a label to something that he has not been judicially been stamped. So he's not, either whether or not he's a victim and benefiting also, it's a different kettle of fish. But what the federal government should be focused on now is to make sure that whatever is happening with our pipeline is taken care of. Even if it is to rent a devil to come and handle it, I agree with that in total. So not for us now to be thinking of whether if you have any other thing, you have another channel you can settle it. It's better for all of us. Okay,
thank you very much, Kani. But let's come back to Collins again. Collins, it's like you've situated, these contract awards to look as if it's overwhelming to Tompolo. Tompolo secured it during Jonathan's administration. What is different now? Is it a situation that each oil-producing community would want to have a piece of the pie?
Look, I am not interested on who have the contract or who award the contract. I'm not interested in that. I am looking at a bigger picture. Somebody was in charge, and it didn't work out. Let me tell you a story. To be very precise, in 2015, I was with the National Security Advisor, and we discussed extensively on how peace can return to Niger Delta region. Some of the points I, sorted out gave rise to the relative peace that we're enjoying in Niger Delta right now. You must know the source of a problem before you employ somebody to cure it. If you don't have fever and you feel that your body is disturbing you, you go for a medical test, know the problem, and solve it. You don't give a contract to secure a pipeline to somebody who really don't even have the capacity. I am not against Tompolo. It's my kid brother and my mentee. But I want him to be very careful so that he doesn't cede the sovereignty of his self-esteem. What I have said this is a distraction and is a means to undermine the integrity of the Niger Delta people. I want to liken this Tompolo contract to that of Ukraine and Russia. How will the Shekiri man, the Urobo man, the Isoko man feel if Tompolo as an Ijaw man has this contract? Of course, the security along their line is in the hands of an Ijaw man. We lost a very good establishment that will have employed the entire Niger Delta youths because of the disagreement between Tompolo and the Shekiris. And that thing has not been located in Delta State. I want to ask a question to Nigeria, even if the president of this country is listening. Who are the oil thieves? Who are the people that are stealing the oil? The young man there from Kogi State, as we speak, the iron ore, the Kogi steel, is dead on arrival. So what I'm saying in effect is that let us face it. Those that are stealing the oil cannot guide our oil, cannot secure our pipeline. That is my argument. I'm looking at a bigger picture. And I told the chief security officer of this country, the national security advisor to the president, And before Buhari became the president of this country in 2010, right here in Transcorp Hilton, we discussed it. And I left with the great anticipation that the Ijaw people, or rather the Niger people, Delta people, are going to transit from the fatigue of despair and to the buoyancy of hope. But as God will have it, it didn't turn out to be that way. I say categorically, and I know it, when Zamani was the pioneer chairman of JTF, I picked bonds with him because I discovered that he was into shady deals with these oil bunkers. And I reported him to the then president of this country, Obasanjo.
Come, let me cut in.
And I do that. So we must know the people who are responsible.
Collins, sorry, let me come in here. I think it's not proper to shave a man's head behind him. Retired Major General Zamani Lekwot is not on this show, and those are very weighty accusations.
Absolutely. Well, and at the end of the day, it's about finding a solution.
Yeah, solution.
The economy of the nation is bleeding. So gentlemen, what are the solutions that we're suggesting tonight? 30 seconds each. Let's wrap it up. Really,
no, the solution is not awarding of contract. Listen to me, the solution is not awarding of contract. It's not contract award to Tompolo. We know the people that are responsible. 50 Tompolo can't solve the problem. As I speak to you, the people Tompolo know them. The federal government knows them.
Okay, Collins, just let Ben Ikani come in quickly here. You have very few seconds, Ben.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, solutions, please.
The other panelists, what his point is quite clear, but I will ask him a question. Is he aware of Local Content Act? Local Content Act, you fought for it vigorously and it was given to you. That means when you have your people in your locality getting involved in this, it's part of the essence of local content law that you people fought for. So if Tompolo, for instance, from Niger Delta, and have been given that mandate to take care of the theft that is going on there, well, there's nothing wrong about that. In any way, let us get solution, right, let it be stopped, that's all.
So very much, Prince Collins Eselemo is the grand patron of the Ijaw Youth Congress, and Ben Ikani is former Attorney General and Justice Commissioner in Kogi State, as well as a former director of the EFCC. Thanks for coming on news.